Hey fantasy football fans, it's me, the Fantasy Football Girl, coming to you with another edition of Vlog Times. Before we go into bust, bombs, and bonuses, I want to do a quick review of my start, sit, and extra for week 4. So without further ado, I want to apologize for my first giant whiff of the 2010 fantasy football season. My start for week 4, the mighty John Kuhn of the Green Bay Packers. Yikes, that wasn't great. I'm sorry. He had 9 carries for 39 rushing yards, a bagel in every other column, including the fumble column, which makes a difference, right? Right? No? Okay, I didn't think so. If it's any consolation, Brandon Jackson didn't have much more doing. In fact, surprisingly, the Packers didn't score any of their touchdowns on the ground, despite the fact that Detroit is 32nd in the league against the run. So there you have it. Kind of a shocker. That's why we love fantasy football. Of course, we like it more when it works in our favor, but this is part of the game. My sit for week 4, a much better option, was Michael Crabtree of the San Francisco 49ers. He had 5 receptions for 58 yards. That's it. The Mike Johnson experiment, not changing things overnight in San Francisco. We'll see if Crabtree's production goes up. He did have more receptions this game than in any other previous week, so, you know, he's warming. He's getting there. He's still, to me, a giant douche, but, you know, we all have our own opinions. My extra for week 4, Chad Henne. Obviously don't have stats on him yet since he plays in Monday night's game against the Patriots. I will be sure to post them once the game is over. All right, so bust, bombs, and bonuses. My favorite thing about a Monday, other than the Monday night game, my bust is the newly acquired Lawrence Maroney of the Denver Broncos, formerly of the New England Patriots. Yeah, he didn't do anything. In fact, he had 11 carries for 5 yards, 2 receptions for 10 yards. Buckhalter, on the other hand, had 6 carries for 3 yards, 5 receptions for 38 yards, but he did catch the game-winning touchdown pass and helped put Denver over the edge. So, again, Buckhalter saw the ball fewer times, but he did more with his opportunities. Both of them are in for the injured Knowshon Moreno, who I hear Daniels is hopeful will play on Sunday, this coming Sunday, against the Ravens. If he does not play, I think Buckhalter is obviously the stronger option over Maroney. My bomb for week 4, well, I would love to accredit this space to the offensive line of the Chicago Bears, you bastards. I don't want to be called a homer, so I'm not going to do that. And while there were a bunch of injuries, Jay Cutler being one of them, Steve Smith of the Carolina Panthers, Clinton Portis, Darren McFadden, Jacoby Jones, lots of injuries this week. I also don't like to attribute a bomb with an injury because that's not something you can predict. It's not because of your performance necessarily. Michael Vick, however, did get hurt, and Kevin Kolb resumed the starting job, at least for that particular game. Now, we don't really know exactly what's going on or how long he'll be out. I've heard rumors about a hairline fracture to his collarbone, rib issues. I believe he was getting an MRI today. So that's definitely a situation you want to monitor. Kevin Kolb, on the other hand, took over in the second quarter of the game. He had 22 completions for 201 yards, 1 passing touchdown. He rushed for 21 yards as well. On the other hand, he also had 1 interception, 1 sack, 2 fumbles, doing the opposite of leading the Eagles to victory. They ended up losing 12-17 to the Washington Redskins, led by the ever so handsome Donovan McNabb. Side point. So yeah, Kolb, kind of my bomb. You know, a lot of people are scrambling to get him off of the waiver wire. I think there are better options. If that's the best you can do, I understand. I have confidence that Vick will be back. I think he can take a lot of pain. Don't read too much into that. So, yeah, basically Kolb's my bomb. He certainly didn't earn the starting position back. He just sort of lucked into it. But things could change next week. All right, my bonus. Well, before I do my bonus, I would like to welcome back a couple of players like Maurice Jones-Drew. Welcome to the 2010 fantasy season. Terrell Owens, where have you been? It's nice to see you. The last place I caught you was VH1. I didn't know that you played football anymore. Nice to have you guys back. I appreciate it. So while most of those guys are owned in most leagues, Mike Tolbert, who is my bonus for the week, is actually surprisingly only owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues. He obviously playing for the injured Ryan Matthews, who did play, though limitedly, on Sunday. Matthews battling that ankle and now an elbow injury. Tolbert looked shaky last week against Seattle. He fumbled, didn't have any touchdowns. This week, however, he was dynamite. I think he sort of got his potatoes together again, you know, and he was just able to focus. He had 16 carries for 100 yards, 2 receptions for 3 yards, and a rushing touchdown. I had him in as my flex. It was great. He's clearly surpassing Sproles as the backup to Matthews. Matthews was the Chargers' first-round pick, so I imagine that, you know, he's still going to see most of the action as he continues to heal from these injuries, but Tolbert is making quite a case for as a backup and certainly a great flex option, especially while Matthews is still rehabilitating a few things. So those are my bust bombs and bonuses for week 4. Want to let you guys know that I will be a special guest on the Fantasy Football Mastermind radio show and podcast tomorrow. We go live at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time. You can check out their website, ffmastermind.com. We'll be on the Fantasy Sports channel. There's a link just below. I'll be on the whole show. It's only a half an hour long, so please do check that out. In the meantime, have a great evening, and I'll be back on Wednesday with 1 for the money, 2 for the show, and 3 to let go. Thanks, guys.